Hey kids, Miss Wallace here. I want to talk to you a little bit more about text features. We're going to spend quite a bit of time this week talking about those. So what I am pulling up here on the screen, these are called text features puzzles. And so I've left them together so we can kind of talk about them a little bit. But I'm going to scan these. I'm going to have these available in Google Classroom. That way, if you would like to and you have the ability to print these out, and then you can cut them out and see if you can piece them back together. Okay. What I did, I didn't necessarily cut like everything apart. What I did is actually just cut the top and the bottom apart like this, so it didn't take quite as long to cut it out. And I left the picture there with the definition so you could piece it back together like that. So if you have the ability to do that, it's great practice. It'll help you to remember these different text features. So these are features that we would see in a book, maybe a magazine, even could be a newspaper. And we call these text features because these are going to be the appearance of whatever text we're reading. And text features help us to better understand the information. So a lot of us have seen books or magazines where we have pictures, and maybe beside or underneath the picture is going to be what we call a caption. And these are going to be words that are really describing what we see in the picture and why they included that picture, because they didn't just pick a random image. They actually included that one for a special purpose. The image itself, we would say, is the picture of the photograph. As a science teacher, I love diagrams. This could be an outline or a drawing that is telling us how something works. For example, this one is showing us the moon phases and how the sun's rays are striking the moon, where we can see a certain part of the moon. So I love diagrams. And of course, if you have diagrams, typically you're going to have labels to help you understand what that diagram is trying to teach you. Okay, so let's go on to the second page. Graphs, you know that as a science teacher, I love graphs and I love charts and tables. It's a fantastic way to organize our data or our information, and it helps us to see relationships within our data versus me having to look at a page of 100 different numbers. I could actually compile the data, and now I could easily see, oh wow, so this little car went faster than this one based off what I see in the graph. Okay. A lot of times we will organize our data in a chart or a table, and then we can convert that over into the graph. In some text that we've seen recently, we've seen timelines. This is just showing us the order or the sequence of events as they happen. Your social studies book is full of timelines. It's a great way to learn history and maybe who was the president before someone else. Civil War was before our world wars. And so it helps us to get a better understanding of events that have happened over time. In the Titanic book that Miss Jones read last week, and then in a book that I'm going to be reading this week, the Giant Squid, you're going to see sidebars. And sidebars are typically little boxed in information to the side of your main page. And it's just giving you some other information or interesting facts about the topic. So sidebars are a great text feature to have. We know that especially if it's in a magazine or maybe in a paper, we will have the title, and then you may have headings to kind of divide up your text into sections. Within those sections, you may also have subheadings that break it down even further. So those are very two important text features. Other two things that you may see, glossary. This is where you're going to see words listed alphabetically, and they're giving you the definition. So a lot of times in books, if there's bold-faced print, those are usually indicating vocabulary words that are important to know. And those are typically going to be listed back here in the glossary. Table of contents, this is towards the front of the book. And this is where if we wanted to look and see, okay, where do we find information about sharks? Okay, we see that's going to be page 4, or maybe it's a chapter. It may tell us what chapter it's going to be found in. So this is an easier way to navigate a nonfiction text. And then the last 4 here are index. This is where they're going to list things alphabetically. So let's say that I had a textbook and it was about animals, and I was interested in learning more about a cheetah. So I could look here under C. I see cheetah is going to be on page 8. So if you have access to a social studies book or another nonfiction style book, typically they're going to have an index, which is going to help you find information about a specific topic much easier. Maps. Maps are fantastic. I have a giant map on my wall here in the classroom that I refer to a lot, because when we're talking about things, it helps to relate it to the map and where it might have happened in the world. We're going to be getting ready to talk about weather and climate, and that climate is directly going to be impacted by where that location is in our world or on our Earth. So maps are a great way to better understand information. And then a lot of times you see bold print, which is just going to be thicker or darker in your text, or it could be italicized, or we call that italics, where the words just look like they're slanted a little bit. And so both of these are trying to set off those particular words to indicate that they hold an importance. Could be vocabulary word, could be the title of a work, and they're trying to show you that those particular things are very important. So if you get a chance, print these out. See if you can piece them back together. It's great practice. We will be working with these this week for some other activities, and we'll have a quiz come Thursday about these. All right, so let me know if you have any questions.